Everybody's makeup good?
Yeah, you are unmuted and good to go.
All right, everyone, it's a pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Evening, everybody. It's June 12th, 2025. We'll call to order the meeting of the Smithfield Planning Commission. This is our regular June meeting. All right, Julie, we have everybody that's present.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I don't think we have any minutes, right? We do not have any minutes. Okay. Old business, so. Let's talk about the two that have requested tabling. Give me 1 second. Let's talk about the 3 Point Garden subdivision. So I see the letter here, Julie, it says that they requested the table it,
Yes.
but they're gonna run out of time.
I spoke with Janet. There is an extension on the way.
Okay,
Just in case they do not provide it, we will vote it, or the Board of Supervisors will have it on their agenda for the 24th and we'll be fine.
okay. All right, yeah, because I know it's coming up, so, all right, I make a motion, we'll table 3 Point Garden subdivision. Second, anybody?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jean, all in favor?
Aye.
So the next one, the Smithfield Sewer Authority, I guess this has been requested to be tabled as well.
That is correct. I have received their letter
Yeah.
for extension, but it was received after this was printed and posted.
Okay, yeah, because I know, because they're coming up on time too, I have my notes from last week. All right, I make a motion that the Smithfield Sewer Authority Land Development Plan be tabled to the June meeting. Seconded, or July meeting, excuse me, second. Seconded by Doug, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, how about we do this, before we consider the self-storage and the transient business ones, let's talk about the two that, why don't we do the two that are here to accept it as, accepting the plans. I don't think there's really anything major to do it, so let's talk about the, was it Moika, how do you say it?
Moteca,
Moika,
whatever easier.
minor subdivision, this is the. That's right, this is the piece, mine from you, right, Gary? Okay. All right. John, I see you issued
Yeah, we just
a
issued,
submission letter.
yeah, accept the submission. This is the same plan that you saw last month in the form of a sketch plan. They formalized it and we will do a review.
Yeah, okay, it's slightly different than last time, that's all right, that's what the sketch is for, so now we're into the review. Been done, I don't know, timeline wise, we probably have 90 days.
We have 90 days,
yeah.
We have 90 days, so,
starting from today. Because you're.
because now we're
accept it
accepting
today.
it, all right. So I'll make the motion that we accept the Mochica Minor subdivision plan, so the review period may start to run.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Jean, any discussion? Okay, in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all in favor, good,
Thank you, guys.
all right, Brian, thank you very much. Well, it's gonna get worse, trust me, I promise you, it'll get worse. All right.
I'm all too aware.
Looks like we have one additional one. Rocco's Collision Land Development Plan, where,
I'm gonna do that around.
See
what goes on here. Where's Rocco?
where are these guys?
I did touch base with them. I told them because this was simply accepting the plan that they didn't need to be here because they weren't going to be presenting.
Okay, but do they have everything?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so everything,
letter, we're okay with it as long as.
yeah, we can do a letter, we're.
Apologies, John did submit the acceptance letter. I received the acceptance letter after all of this was published, so it is not in there. I will forward it to you.
That's fine. No, keep it, that's all right, as long as it's accepted. We have, as long as we have everything to accept it, right?
Yes, we are good to go.
What's it about? Anybody know?
They are interested in combining two buildings and doing upgrades to those buildings.
Combining, they're gonna glue them together?
John
That
actually,
requires a land development?
Aren't they putting an addition in between the two to connect the two? I
Yes.
think, yeah.
Why is that in the land development? Is that just need a building permit?
Because it is the development of a commercial building, they require land development.
Yeah. Any commercial addition requires.
Okay, I just, it just sort of, that just sort of struck me. Okay, then I make a motion that we accept the Rocco's Collision Land Development Plan
Second.
for review, seconded by Doug. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? All right. You know, we have a light board here tonight. Do we want to talk about self-storage or transient business regulations tonight? I mean, that's not, there's no pressure on those, right? Those are just,
Robert's not here.
So with the self-storage facility regulations, we
Yeah.
are attempting to push these because right now we don't have anything on the books. What that means is that if somebody were to submit a plan tomorrow, they get to kind of choose what they get to do. Because we don't have any requirements, they've been pushed through the township by a 302 hearing, by conditional use. There have been a couple lawsuits involved with the older ones. So we're trying to move this one forward a bit faster to make sure that we aren't caught by surprise by another submission.
okay, but we don't have an ordinance. We were just discussing these, right?
Right, yes, because the board is looking for guidance. I don't want to advertise something and then have you guys make
Okay.
substantial changes to it.
Well. What thoughts, what do you think?
I read it a couple of times and it looks really reasonable to me.
Okay.
I mean, it just. It seems like that's what you would want in a self-storage.
Okay,
This ordinance.
all right, Nicole, did you get a look at it at all? mean,
I agree.
I know it doesn't look like it's a lot of heavy lifting, I understand that.
Seems reasonable, I think.
Mhm.
We did talk about this.
We talked about it, I think briefly, maybe in May, did we talk about it in May?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I definitely have read this before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the only question that I had, Julia, on, under section 3, part B,
there,
where it says, about the lighting shall conform to the applicable provisions in the township code. I know we don't have a lighting ordinance yet, so will that be replaced with like the ordinance number?
We've put this, I've placed that in there in that fashion, so once our lighting ordinance does come into fruition, that is obvious, because if I say, you know, shall conform to chapter 32,
Uh-huh,
if we have no chapter 32 and the
Got it.
ordinance gets pushed off.
that's kind of what I thought, but I just wanted to.
Exactly, and there are lighting regulations in Saldo currently,
Correct.
which if someone is going through this, they would have to apply, and that would be applicable for that. But this is just kind of leaving it just a little bit ambiguous, so when chapter 32 does come
it's
about.
not ambiguous, it's just a general reference, that's okay,
Yes.
that's all right.
But it's for chapter 32.
Where's chapter 32 stand at the moment in the legislative process?
That is a fantastic, was that one that the board
Yeah,
talked? Yes. the
Yeah, we
board
talked
it.
about it at the last board meeting, 2 nights ago.
Okay.
And I think they asked Alex to formalize it and get ready for
Okay, so it hasn't installed anywhere,
No.
it's moving along, all right.
Yeah, they've asked for a solicitor review. The board at their last meeting appointed an alternate solicitor because Attorney Karasak is very, entrenched in the litigation involving Back Nine and Mountain Manor. So they appointed the alternate solicitor
The
as,
track?
Yes.
Oh,
as Attorney Kidwell. So we are going to send this to him for review so he can take a look at it. We want a solicitor's eyes on it before. Once Alex has made the changes from 2 nights ago, and then Attorney Kidwell takes a look at it, it'll come back to you guys for formal review.
okay. If Bob has any questions, you can call me.
I will let Bob know.
We've known each other for decades, it's fine,
Oh,
since we
really?
were kids, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
yeah. My sister was in his sister's wedding, I mean, we've known each other a long time, long before we were both lawyers, so. But since I helped with Al's spirit, that
Yeah.
if Bob wants to talk, like, you can just get a hold of me.
That is a wonderful connection. I will
Yeah,
make
he-
sure that he is.
It's only 3
aware.
blocks over, you can even walk over and say hi if you want. That's fine. All right. Now let's, you wanna make Do we need to make a formal, we don't really need to make any formal recommendation, right, other than maybe that we
Honestly,
recommend that it move forward?
If you are okay with it, I can come back to the board and say, hey, planning commission's fine, like, we're in an informal review process right
Yeah,
now.
okay,
Next thing I can do, the board of supervisors, then we'll talk about this on their 24th meeting, and we'll send it back to you
and then
guys
it
one
can be
more
sent back
time.
to us, it's gonna get sent back to us in the formal form.
review.
Yes, for formal review.
Okay,
Sounds fine.
then I think that's fine. Then let's talk about the transient business ones, cause I got more concerns about that, to be honest with you. If we wanna talk about it, where is the board of supervisors on that? Is it just, are we just talking about discussions like we started last time?
So this is something that also has a little bit of oomph behind it. Given what has been transpiring, because the chapter 13 right now is technically out of alignment with chapter 27. We're obviously looking to close that gap so there aren't disagreements in our ordinances. We have had a little bit more interest in somebody doing something like a food truck in our township. So we are interested in updating these a little bit earlier, as this is kind of the season for food trucks. But we'd love your thoughts, and I did not make I should point out, under item F, we had spoken about last month doing the renaming or changing it so the applicant's responsible for making sure the trash gets removed. I didn't put that on here yet because you guys said you wanted to formally discuss it a little bit more,
Yeah.
so that change hasn't been made, but it is on the document.
Okay, you know, cause obviously we're gonna get it back in a different form. My overarching concern. My overarching concern is, I don't wanna sanctify a de facto flea market. That's what this proposal does.
Yeah.
All right, so if you wanna give them, if we give them a year permit or whatever, and if you have. Oh, I don't know, a large parking lot like at the Marshalls Creek intersection. You can have transient market after transient market after transient market. That's frankly trashy and repulsive for what the township is. If you want that, you can go up to Middle Smithfield, you can see what that crap looks like.
That was gonna be my question too.
All right, so really transient, if you're gonna do it this way. Transient business type arrangements should probably be on a per parcel basis, limited to one. And for no more than any kind of like, maybe a 30-day duration of something, say, or 2-week duration, something along those lines. And probably not to be able to be renewed, but once or twice a year. You know, so you can have
Christmas.
flowers at Easter and Christmas trees. You know, there's something along those lines, but I think, frankly, I think Robert's ideas of, you know, throwing this thing wide open is preposterous.
A year license, it's crazy.
It's crazy, right? I mean, you hear that, I don't know what he's thinking, but I mean, well, hell, you might as well open it, right?
Yeah, that's like the
Yeah.
whole
You
thing.
know,
Although if you've got a food truck that is going from plate that operates all year round, but goes, you know, one day here, one day there. I can see why you wouldn't want them to have. to
I don't
go
want
get
food
a
trucks
permit.
either.
But I don't,
I think food
there's
trucks
no
are,
food truck that does here, like when it's cold.
That's true,
They're
yeah.
at the mountain, but they're on the mountain's property.
but that's right, they'd be something like on the mountains property, or it'd be some variety of festival of some kind.
right,
I don't know where.
But I think those are-
This is gonna happen.
It's more like at festivals, I think. Yeah.
And festivals are all right, but I don't think, but really, I just don't think you wanna throw it wide open the way
No, but.
Robert envisions it in whatever land he lives
right
in.
here.
It's a really good point. I know that when I was putting this together, I never envisioned the de facto flea market concept of this. I have always looked at this as I own a food truck business and I want to be able to pull into the local ice cream shop to make sure that we can supplement their ice cream with burgers or pizza, let's say, and then I can, you know, drive down the road for the next weekend and do something like that. So thank you for bringing that to my.
Yeah, but that's the,
Really good, thoughtful.
that's what you're talking about is
Yeah.
probably the most
Reasonable.
reasonable and least offensive style of thing. What I don't want to happen is, really what we've seen in other places, which is, it's not good. So, and with places big enough that you could have multiple things. Like in the parking lot of the car. Or in the empty lots behind Wawa that they're not able to do anything with currently. It's going to become a problem because that's where they will slip in.
Yeah, I can't really picture where a food truck would be, that it's not like on private property, that they're being asked.
It's not a matter of it being on, it's going to be on private property. It's just a matter of how do we how is it that it's reasonable to regulate how long they can be on private property? A 3-day festival, the kind of like, what Shawnee
That's
does,
right.
whether they do it at the inn or whether they do it up, at the ski area. Those are sort of in and out, 1, 2, 3 day kinds of things on long weekends. That's not what we're talking about when we're talking about this. We're talking about, the flower tent sitting there for 6 weeks. Like the Burger King in Stroudsburg.
Right,
And then that parking lot's big enough to, if they wanted to, have also 4 or 5 other vendors if they wanted to. That's where your problem comes into, and I think the gateway thing is a real problem, because if he can generate a couple of bucks. By sticking,
You will.
by putting a bulldozer across and flattening out the weeds in the place where he couldn't put Popeyes, he'll do that. Under this transient thing, it's a problem.
I think 30 days.
Yeah, it's kind of right, that's probably longer than most would normally you would think of would hit, but still, that's really that would be my big concern.
Thank you, Paul. You have soundly sent me back to the drawing board. And I appreciate it. Thank
Oh,
you.
no.
It's just another set of eyes, that's all.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good.
I have what I think is more like a housekeeping issue, let's see if I can find it. So on the first page, the definitions, the current version, that number 1, it said transient retail business engaging in peddling, soliciting, blah, blah, blah. And that was taken out in the new version, which I think is good, but then when you go to page 3 of the new version, under 13-205, it refers to that definition again. It's kind of, it says upon receipt of such application, then it goes down and it says engaged in transient retail business from house to house or upon any of the streets, alleys, sidewalks. So it kind of goes back to that definition that has been taken out, and I'm wondering if that should be.
Well, it says it's the current version though, no?
Yeah, but the current version
Oh, I see what
refers
you
to
said, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
so,
It's the same,
yeah.
right. Who put this together? You, Julia, or Al? Yeah. Okay.
The only one other thing I put in there, let's make sure it interplays in with the signs, because the temporary businesses, really, they have to be
Yeah, that was
subject to the
fine.
temporary, but to the township temporary signage thing, when we finish that up. Because the last thing we want are,
40
Yeah.
feather flag.
40 feather flags and
Okay.
Three French hens.
3 French hens and, the air blower thing with the ghost or whatever the hell that nonsense.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, they're terrific. They make me want to turn it every time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I bet you
actually,
didn't know that.
actually, I
I'm
made,
drawn to them.
yeah, I like to fill them, with hydrogen.
I have one other thing on
Go ahead.
page 2. Section E from the top, at the very top is E and then E. It refers to the seeking or taking of orders by insurance agents or brokers licensed under the insurance laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Should that be in I don't know, that just seems kind of an odd thing to have in. It was in the old version.
There's the one that's there.
Yeah, and it's continued to be in the new version.
What number is it?
It's right here.
It's,
Okay,
yeah, there it is.
thank you.
There might be some sort of insurance law that's preempting us.
Oh.
It might be a dinosaur. I don't know. I will look into it.
Okay, thank you. That's all I've got.
All right. I think that's it. Any public comment, good night.
Public comment?
All right. You, I didn't,
I would like,
Brett, did you raise your hand or we good?
yeah, I'd like to make a comment.
You may, sure.
I understand that, Bert told me that, the supervisors will be discussing, adding an ordinance to our zoning, or our salad, to require elevations be included in plans for development. And couldn't be happier about that. If they do, really do that and pass it, I'm all for it. So I'm gonna say that right up front. Even though we're not discussing it.
All right. I agree.
I agree.
Then I make a move, we adjourn.
Ooh,
All in favor? So done. Good
Yeah.
moving, Scott.
Get home before the thunderstorm. I think it's.
Yeah.
All right.